What's up, my dudes? My name is Sister Turley, and this is a track review of Finger Lakes MX Park. So I have absolutely no idea where that name comes from, but this track right here is pretty cool. Obviously, the just standard, basic kind of woodland vibe, but actually on the track is a ton of fun, man. I can tell right away if a track's going to be fun on track or if it's just kind of weird and not really built right, but this is a fun track as far as what's on the track. I know it's nothing too crazy special off of the track, or it's just, you know, your standard local track, just woodland kind of feeling, but I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun on track, just the way the ground feels, but the width of the track as well, and kind of how some of these straightaways you just get going so fast, and it makes it a lot of fun because you're always pushing it further and further into the corners, and I love tracks that are built like that because it feels like a real life track. So but this one's a lot of fun too because the ruts in the corners, there's pretty much like two ruts in every corner, two main ruts, but they're big enough where you can really get into them, but they kind of they're not too crazy big. They're just that perfect rut size where it's tricky to make sure you get into them, but when you do, it's big enough to where you can really power out of the corner. So I love tracks that are just made good, man. It's just once you've rode on quite a few MX Simulator tracks, you can know right away whether it's going to be a fun track or not all that fun of a track, and this is definitely a fun one. So like I said, even though it's just basic and chill off track, it's still, I like the kind of slight off camber hills and stuff it's got going on. It makes it just so realistic. It's not just perfectly flat, and as you guys know, I say that all the time, man. As long as it's not perfectly flat, I promise you it's going to be pretty fun. So because that's how natural hills are in the real world. You know, they're not just, unless you're at like a sand desert or something, it's not going to be perfectly flat or anything like a salt flat. I mean, it's going to have, you know, kind of slight hills to it. It doesn't have to be some crazy, you know, Mount Everest crazy mountains and whatnot, but it can still be, when you do them slight hills and slight off cambered corners and elevation and whatnot, that makes tracks so much more realistic, and they don't feel too crazy. They don't feel too elevation like a Glen Helen or something crazy like that. They still feel fairly flat, but just the fact that it's not perfectly flat makes it so much more fun. So but yeah, I like the ground decal. It's not too crazy, but it looks pretty good because in the ruts and stuff, it actually gets a little darker, so you can see the ruts better. That's always a good thing. So yeah, just a fun, chill track, man. It seems like it's hard to find good, solid MX Simulator tracks as far as on track goes anymore. It's just, I don't know, man. It's like some people just know how to make tracks, and some people haven't really got it figured out yet. And but I don't know. It's just fun when you find those that have fun lines and stuff, and the ruts are nice, and you can push it into the corners, and as long as they get the right ground, the way the actual ground feels as far as the tile map goes, that's like so important. I can't even explain, because there's been so many tracks where, like, it had so much potential, but they kind of ruined it with either making it have too much traction or making it too slick or something like that. You know, it just had a lot of potential to it, but when you add too much traction, it no longer feels like a motocross track. It feels more like a street bike track, or like you're on concrete or something. So I can't stress how important that is to just get that tile map like perfect dirt feeling. But it's different when you're going for either a muddy vibe or a slick, like hard pack vibe or something like that. But when you're just going like a standard dirt track like this, you don't want it to be too crazy traction, because then it's just going to get annoying, especially on a 450. So but yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. This track right here, nothing special though. That's what's crazy. It doesn't, you know, tracks don't have to be some crazy Hawaii like I'll try to make all the time, or some crazy space kind of feeling to a track to be a good track. This right here is a lot of fun, but yet it's so basic. There's not even any really big crazy jumps. I could see this being, I guess it is probably a real track. I don't know how somebody would just come up with Finger Lakes MX Park. That'd be pretty gnarly if somebody just came up with that name. That would make absolutely no sense, but I'm guessing this is an actual real track here. So and it does feel like a replica, like a very well made replica, so that's really cool. But yeah, all the off track stuff looks cool, and just the local track feeling, man. I love that. I love when they're built well though, but you can see kind of the slight hills and slight elevation. If this track would have been perfectly flat, it wouldn't even have felt the same. It's all those minute, slight little details that you can put into a track that just, oh man, it totally changes it. But see, right there, pretty flat, not a whole lot of roughness, but the fact that it's kind of slightly elevated up more would be on the right side right here looking at it backwards, or it'd be on the left side if you looked at it the right way. You can kind of see how it's kind of got that hill over there where it slightly elevates it, so I don't know, man, it just adds that realism to it. It's very hard to explain it, but I mean, you can see jumps so easy, but I don't know, man, fun track though for sure. All these off-track stuff looks pretty good. All the little bushes and kind of the different colored decals and whatnot off the track with the different kind of dirt looks. And then you got the grass off-track looking pretty good. So, yeah, just a fun track, man. So I'm going to give this track I'm going to give it a 9 overall. And I'm going to say the difficulty, I'm going to say it's easy. So anyways, I appreciate all you watching these videos, and I'll keep on making them. Peace.